Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Austin Perry Show. I'm your host, Austin Perry, and today is Saturday, May 1st, 2021, and today is episode 25. And we are doing a very special episode today. We are going to be doing a deep dive on the topic of D.U.M.Bs, which is D.U.M.B.S, Deep Underground Military Bases. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to find my video content, you can find it on various social media platforms. Just search Austin Perry Show. And I would encourage you to visit my website, which is austinperry.org, and that's spelled P-A-R-R-Y. And if you would like to support a grassroots patriot news organization, then please leave me a donation. And you can leave me a donation via PayPal, and my email address for that is austin.perry@gmail.com, and that's spelled P-A-R-R-Y. And this is the Austin Perry Show, where we talk about current events, politics, culture, and news. And this is episode 25, and this is a deep dive episode on the topic of D.U.M.Bs, D-U-M-B-S, which is Deep Underground Military Bases. And so I have some information here that I have printed up from the internet, from online, on this topic of D.U.M.Bs, Deep Underground Military Bases. And it is a very intriguing topic to me. I've always been fascinated by deep underground military bases and deep underground military facilities. And it kind of reminds me of like the dwarves from Lord of the Rings, delving deeper and deeper into the ground. What are they trying to find? What are they doing under there? What are they keeping secrets? What kind of secrets do they have? What's going on down there? I want to know. And so that's why I research these things. And this is going to be very thought-provoking and very interesting, and so you're not going to want to miss this episode 25 of the Austin Perry Show here, Saturday, May 1st, 2021. This is the deep dive episode on D.U.M.Bs, Deep Underground Military Bases. And the first bit of information that I have from the internet that I have printed up, that I have brought here to discuss with you and to analyze, is from wikipedia.org. Underground base. And let's get a document cam shot on this. Here you go, underground base, wikipedia.org. And this is the Wikipedia page talking about underground military bases. And let's read here. It says, an underground base is a subterranean facility used for military or scientific purposes. Examples are Cheyenne Mountain Complex, Shashishan Air Force Base, Dulce Base, Iranian underground missile bases, Raven Rock Mountain Complex, Zeljava Air Force Base. There are more than 10,000 underground military facilities worldwide. And that is cited from the source GeorgeWashingtonUniversity.edu. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, document cam shot. Wikipedia, which is a very trusted and very reliable mainstream source of information, says that there are more than 10,000 underground military facilities worldwide. And it makes sense that they are digging and tunneling and making these underground military facilities to conduct different types of secret experiments on human genetic engineering, human-animal hybrids, alien technology, consciousness transfer into clones. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They've got little people in pods, just like in the Matrix movie, with wires coming out of their brains, interfacing with an AI machine learning interface. All kinds of experiments and experimentation is going on in these underground military facilities. And they hide it in plain sight because everyone knows that they dig basements, or they might have several levels down. If they have like a skyscraper building, there's not just a basement, there's several levels down. And so everyone knows about that, but no one really thinks about, well, what if they dig even deeper? And people, a lot of you know about the Ho Chi Minh, which was in the Vietnam War, was the opposition to the U.S. forces, was the northern Vietnamese rebel forces, was the Ho Chi Minh, and they had the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which was a series of underground tunnels. And because of their vast tunnel network, it was very hard for the U.S. Forces to eradicate the Ho Chi Minh. And so that's just another example of these deep underground tunnels and underground military facilities. We encountered it during the Vietnam War, fighting the North Vietnamese Ho Chi Minh. And so let's move on to the next article. Here is from wikipedia.org once again. List of deepest mines. The list of deepest mines includes operational and non-operational mines that are at least 2,212 meters, or 7,257 feet, which is the depth of the Veravakina cave, the deepest known natural cave in the world. The depth measurement is this list represent the difference in elevation from the entrance of the mine to the deepest excavated point. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have it, wikipedia.org, the list of the deepest mines. And you can see here, the deepest mine is the Mukpagan gold mine, with a depth of 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles. And that is in South Africa. And it looks like the top 6 deepest mines are actually all in South Africa. Wow. The number 7th deepest mine is actually in the United States, the Empire Mine, which says was closed in 1956 and has a depth of 3.35 kilometers or 2.085 miles. And so here we have the list, the top 12 or 13, all over 3 kilometers in depth, with the deepest one, according to Wikipedia, of its list of deepest mines, in South Africa, the Mukpagan gold mine, with a depth of 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles. And that is active, still in use. So there are people down there right now, probably as I'm recording this video, 4 kilometers deep in the earth, mining gold. That's an active mine. So there you have it, wikipedia.org, list of deepest mines, 4 kilometers deep, 2.5 miles deep. So Wikipedia claims, who knows if there are deeper ones. And when I'm thinking about underground military bases, deep underground military bases, D.U.M.S, D.U.M.B.S, it makes me think of all the different times it has been featured in movies and referenced in different movies and pop culture across the years. There have been many references to these deep underground military facilities and bases. And one example that sticks out to me is from the first Resident Evil movie. I believe it was 2002 or 2001 or 2003, something like that. And I'm kind of a sucker for zombie movies, and so I like the Resident Evil movie series, and I remember the first one, it featured a schematic of the underground military facility that they had to go to extract the virus and then terminate the AI was part of their mission in the first movie. And so they were showing the map of how they're going to go down in the tunnel into the underground laboratory facility. And I have a printout here from online. This is a screenshot from the movie scene. And here you can see the schematic of the Hive. And this was in like 2001, 2002, the first Resident Evil movie. And this was where they were testing out different virus strains in an underground secret laboratory. And here you can see this is like a hologram projection, or like on a TV screen of they're showing the mission, and they're going to go raid this Hive facility. You can see down there in the bottom left hand corner it says 2,200 feet below the surface of the earth. And so looking up, it's as if you're underwater, and those buildings up top are like on the surface of the water, but it's like under earth actually. And it says that this is Raccoon City, which is an underground military facility, and it is a secret underground laboratory in the movie Resident Evil, which is a fictional sci-fi movie about zombies. And it says that it is 2,200 feet below the surface of the earth, and it houses around 500 full-time scientists. And so that is a very good representation of what an actual underground military facility might look like in real life. And who knows what the creators of the Resident Evil movies actually knew about in real life and what they're basing these designs off of. There's probably something very similar to this. And so there you have it. Let's move on. And the next thing that I want to show you all that I have printed up here from the internet to discuss and analyze is from the Harry Potter movie. And if you are familiar with the Harry Potter story, you know that there is a Ministry of Magic that goes down 10 levels deep. And so this is another reference. This is just another example of pop culture imitating or replicating real life. And here is an image of Harry Potter getting on the elevator, going down the elevator to the 10th level down. And so there are many government facilities and military facilities that have several levels deep. People know about that. It's common knowledge. But you wouldn't think that they have super large, vast underground military bases or potentially even underground towns or cities. But they pretty much do, folks. And they're just not telling us about it. And who knows how extensive that they are. And it's basically just like a breakaway society, a breakaway civilization of the elite upper class, ruling class, scientists, and heads of industry, and big brains, and think tank people, and bankers, and stuff like things like that. And they are banking on the robot takeover to basically depopulate the surface of the earth, and then the robots will take over the surface of the earth, and the robots are probably already doing all kinds of work under the surface of the earth. And so I think this has been referenced in many movies about how there are underground military facilities, DUMBs, D.U.M.B.S, deep underground military bases, deep underground military facilities. Same thing. And so this is a very interesting topic. It's something that I think about a lot because it's very important and something that a lot of people don't really think about. But it's very obvious, and it makes a lot of sense once you think about it critically and you really start to think about these things. Of course, they're digging all kinds of tunnels, and they've got all kinds of underground military facilities, but they don't tell the people about it. It's all kept hush-hush, kept secret. And I think that private citizens are entitled to have privacy, and if you own your own land and you have the rights, the mineral rights and the soil rights for however deep you have the rights to, that's written into your deed of your property. Say you have the rights to go 2-3 miles down, and then you want to build your own bunker and you want to build your own underground tunnel facilities, and you own that land and you're a private citizen. Sure, I think you're totally entitled to do that. And if you don't want to tell anyone and you don't want it to be public knowledge, you're a private citizen. I think it should be kept private. But the military and the government building all kinds of networks and spider webs underground, the people should be able to know about that stuff. Definitely. And you could say, oh, well, strategic, compromising national security and blah, blah, blah. Well, there is stuff like that to an extent. But if they're just building whole nother worlds down there, I think we're entitled to know about a little bit of it. Why is there no discussion about what kind of underground tunnel networks there are? I mean, there's got to be a lot, and no one talks about it. And so there you have it, Harry Potter going down. It's a little reference from fictional pop culture movie references. Art imitates life, and life imitates art. Both. Excuse me. And here we have from another movie, The Hulk. I think this was 2004, the first Hulk movie. One of the first Hulk movies. That was like a modern Marvel movie. And you can see the image here. And this was when they locked down the underground military facility that the Hulk was taken to. This is a still image from the video. And here you can see the tunnel networks here over here in this frame. And all the rest is doors being locked in the underground military facility because the Hulk got loose and the Hulk's bashing up the walls and destroying stuff. And see, you can see the tunnel networks here. And once again, this is from the Hulk movie, like 2004, early Marvel movie. And here is another image from in the same scene right after that. And it says on their computer screen, lockdown complete, all levels secure. And it shows the diagram behind this, and then over here it shows it also. It's like red level, blue level, green level, yellow level. But this is a black and white screenshot of it. But in the movie, you can see this is a still shot from the movie scene, Hulk, like 2004. And it's showing you how they got deep underground military bases, DUMBs, D.U.M.B, deep underground military bases, deep underground military facilities. And so that is just another example of a movie showing you what is going on in real life. And the next bit of information I have here is from wikipedia.org. And this is the tunnel boring machine. Here we have it, tunnel boring machine. Tunnel boring machine, TBM. And you can see the disc face of the TBM there. Very large worm-like machine that eats away and continues on boring and tunneling. And let's read here. A tunnel boring machine, TBM, is also known as a mole. Is a machine used to excavate tunnels with a circular cross-section through a variety of soil and rock strata. They may also be used for microtunneling. They can be designed to bore through anything from hard rock to sand. Tunnel diameters can range from 1 meter, 3.3 feet, done with micro TBMs, to 17.6 meters, 58 feet to date. That's what they say, 58 feet, largest face on a TBM. They probably got like 120 feet faces. They probably got like 350 foot. Who knows? And that reminds me of the Earth Eater worm monsters from the Hobbit movie Battle of the Five Armies. And it also reminds me of the worm tunnel monster from Star Wars. It was either Empire Strikes Back or one of those early ones, one of the first three. And so, let's continue reading here. Tunnels of less than a meter or so in diameter are typically done using trenchless construction methods or horizontal directional drilling rather than TBMs. TBMs can also be designed to excavate non-circular tunnels, including U-shaped or horseshoe and square or rectangular tunnels. Tunnel boring machines are used as an alternative to drilling and blasting (D.U.M.B) methods in rock and conventional hand mining in soil. TBMs have the advantages of limiting the disturbance to surrounding ground and producing a smooth tunnel wall. This significantly reduces the cost of lining the tunnel and makes them suitable to use in heavy urbanized areas. The major disadvantage is upfront cost. TBMs are expensive to construct and can be difficult to transport. The longer the tunnel, the less the relative cost of tunnel boring machines versus drill and blast methods. This is because tunneling with TBMs is much more efficient and results in shortened completion times. More efficient and results in shortened completion times, assuming they operate successfully. Drilling and blasting, however, remains the preferred method when working through heavily fractured and sheared rock layers. So if it is softer soil and material and it's a long tunnel, TBM's the way to go. But if you have harder rock and sheared rock layers, then you're going to want to use explosives. So here is some more images of the TBMs, the tunnel boring machines. There's like an antique one right there from back in the day. And there's like a more modern one. And how old are the tunnel boring machines, you might ask, Austin? How long have they been digging big, large, circular shaped tunnels? And let's read here. The first successful tunneling shield was developed by Sir Mark Isambard Brunel to excavate the Thames Tunnel in 1825. 1825. So, they've been using these TBMs in a very rudimentary form, very primitive form, ever since the 1820s. And I'm sure they were using probably like a steam engine back then or something. And so who knows what kind of vast underground tunnel networks that they have if they've had these things going since the 1820s. And depending on what the conditions are, if it's very hard rock or if it's very soft soil, if it's very soft soil, they can dig, probably, just guessing, I'm not sure, if it probably says in here somewhere. I think I read it earlier. I'll continue reading this, I might find it, but it's like, if it's soft soil, they can go up to like 400 yards, maybe even a half mile in one day. If it's hard rock, they can probably go about 10, 15, 20, 30 feet in one day. Something like that. That's if they're booking. That's if they're working around the clock, 24 hours straight, and that's if they got crews of guys, 3 different crews, one after the other. Then they can get these tunnels built pretty quickly, pretty fast. And so let's continue reading here. To excavate the Thames Tunnel in 1825. However, this was only the invention of the shield concept and did not involve the construction of a complete tunnel boring machine, the digging still having to be accomplished by the then standard excavation methods. The first boring machine reported to have been built was Henry Joseph Maugh's mountain slicer, commissioned by the King of Sardinia in 1845 to dig the Frejus rail tunnel between France and Italy through the Alps. Maus had it built in 1846 in an arms factory near Turin. It consisted of more than 100 percussion drills mounted to the front of a locomotive-sized machine, mechanically power-driven from the entrance of the tunnel. The revolutions in 1848 affected the funding, and the tunnel was not completed until 10 years later by using less innovative and less expensive methods such as pneumatic drills. In the United States, the first boring machine to have been built was used in 1853 during the construction of the Hoosac Tunnel in northwestern Massachusetts. Made of cast iron, it was known as Wilson's patented stone cutting machine after inventor Charles Wilson. It drilled 10 feet into the rock before breaking down. The tunnel was eventually completed more than 20 years later, and as with the Frejus rail tunnel, by using less ambitious methods. Wilson's machine anticipated modern TBMs in the sense that it employed cutting discs, like those of a disc harrow, which were attached to the rotating head of the machine. In contrast to the traditional chiseling or drilling and blasting, this innovative method of removing rock relied on simple metal wheels to apply a transient high pressure that fractured the rock. A TBM with a bore diameter of 14.4 meters, 47 feet, was manufactured by the Robbins Company for the Canada Niagara Tunnel project. The machine was used to bore a hydroelectric tunnel beneath the Niagara Falls. The machine was nicknamed Big Becky in reference to the Sir Adam Beck hydroelectric dams to which it is tunneling to provide an additional hydroelectric tunnel. An earth pressure balanced TBM known as Bertha with a bore diameter of 17.45 meters, 57 feet 3 inches, was produced by Hitachi Zosen Corporation in 2013. It was delivered to Seattle, Washington for its Highway 99 tunnel project. The machine began operating in 2013. So there you have it, tunnel boring machines, wikipedia.org, document cam shot one more time. And let's go ahead and get a dot cam on that last picture. Here is another TBM tunnel boring machine. And they're using these to cut away vast tunnels at breakneck speeds. Over the years, they have probably dug and created tens or hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of miles of underground tunnels and networks. And probably they have underground cities and towns. And allegedly, the deep underground military facilities are very interconnected by high-speed underground rails, which are within tubes as well. And somewhere near Denver, there is supposed to be one of the largest underground cities, which goes down like 8 or 9 miles and is about 7 or 8 miles wide. And so it's just a mass underground cavern, similar to Zion, the underground city in the movie The Matrix. And allegedly they have very advanced alien technology in these underground cities where they have nuclear fusion, and so they have very long-lasting, nearly free renewable energy sources. And they have underground hydroponic farms. They have underground farms with livestock animals. And they have all kinds of things in these underground military facilities and deep underground military bases, D.U.M.B.S. And so here is another photograph that I have printed up from online. This is from Wikipedia. And here you can see the largest alleged tunnel boring machine with a 57-foot face that has cut away a 57-foot diameter tunnel, and you can see the people look very small in the bottom of this tunnel here. And who knows where this is going? Who knows what this tunnel's for? This is just a random image on Wikipedia, folk. Nobody knows. No one really researches this. Why isn't this on CNN? Why isn't this on Fox News? Why isn't anyone talking about this? What are they doing underground in these military facilities? What kind of secret experiments are they doing? What kind of weapons do they have? Check out that image. Far out. That's crazy. All right, moving on. And here we have some other very interesting information. So we have here the Kola Super Deep Borehole. Wikipedia.org, here we go. Document cam shot. The Kola Super Deep Borehole. And this is allegedly the deepest man-made artificial hole that has been drilled into the earth. And it is 12,200 meters deep, which is 40,200 feet deep, or 7.619 miles deep. 7.6 miles deep. Longest, deepest hole that man has drilled into the earth. The Kola Super Deep Borehole is the result of a scientific drilling project of the Soviet Union in the Petsky district near the Russian border with Norway. On the Kola Peninsula, the project attempted to drill as deep as possible into the Earth's crust. Drilling began on 24th of May, 1970, using the Erlamash 4E and later the Erlamash 15,000 series drilling rig. And it became the deepest man-made hole in history in 1979. The 23-centimeter, 9-inch diameter boreholes were drilled by branching from a central hole. The deepest, SG-3, reached 12,262 meters, or 40,230 feet, or 7.619 miles, in 1989, the deepest artificial point on Earth. In terms of true vertical depth, it is the deepest borehole in the world. For 2 decades, it was also the world's longest borehole in terms of measured depth, along with the well bore, until it was surpassed in 2008 by the 12,289 meter long, 7.636 mile Al Shein oil well in Qatar. So apparently Qatar has an even deeper one. Wow. And let's see, what else do we have here? The main target depth was set at 15,000 meters on June 6, 1979. The world depth record held by the Bertha Rogers Hole in Vashta County, Oklahoma, United States at 9,583 meters was broken in 1983. The unexpected decrease in density, the greater porosity, and the unexpected high temperatures caused the rock to behave somewhat like plastic, making drilling nearly impossible. Drilling was terminated in 1992. Microscopic plankton fossils were found 6.6 kilometers or 4 miles below the surface. Another unexpected discovery was large quantities of hydrogen gas. The drilling mud that flowed out of the hole was described as boiling with hydrogen. Wow. And so there you have it. Once again, Wikipedia, the deepest hole that we have dug is around 7 miles, almost 8 miles deep. And here's an example, the Kola Super Deep Borehole in Russia. And the next thing that I have here to show you is from Google.com. How deep is the Earth's crust? And I simply typed into the search bar, how deep is the Earth's crust? And here we have it from Google.com right here. And let's read, how deep is the Earth's crust? The crust is made of relatively light elements, especially silica, aluminum, and oxygen. It's also highly variable in its thickness. Under the oceans and Hawaiian Islands, it may be as little as 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles thick. Beneath the continents, the crust may be up to 30 to 70 kilometers thick, 18.6 to 43.5 miles thick. So according to Google, the Earth's crust is about 5 to 40 kilometers thick. It varies greatly in thickness. And then you get to the mantle, which is very, very hot and would be very hard to build any structures down there because you would have to make them resistant to super high temperatures. But within the Earth's crust, we could build and dig and build all kinds of different underground military facilities down there. Deep underground military bases, DUMBs. And so there you have it from Google.com. Document cam shot one more time on that one. And moving on. And this is a map that alleges to show where the deep underground military bases are and where they are linked by underground rail systems, underground magnetic rail speed cars and tubes that link the deep underground military bases. And here you go. Here is an image that I found online. And this shows allegedly the deep underground military facilities that we have here in the United States and how they are linked together by very fast underground magnetic rail car systems and tubes. And so there you have it. And this has been a deep dive episode on deep underground military bases, D.U.M.B.S, DUMBs. And there are several deep underground military facilities according to mainstream publications, which I just showed you and cited here on the Austin Perry Show, episode 25, Deep Dive into DUMBs. And they say, even on Wikipedia, over 10,000 worldwide underground military facilities. Who knows what they're doing in these underground military facilities? Different types of human experimentation, different types of weapons and robotics testing, stuff that they want to keep hush-hush and they want to keep secret and away from the public eye. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight on this Saturday, May 1st, 2021, episode 25, special edition of the Austin Perry Show, Deep Dive into DUMBs, Deep Underground Military Bases. And if you would like to find my social media, if you would like to find my video content, you can find it on all social media platforms. Just search Austin Perry Show. And ladies and gentlemen, please visit my website. It is austinperry.org, and that's spelled P-A-R-R-Y. Give it a look and check it out. I think you'll really like it. And if you would like to support a grassroots patriot news company, news organization, which is me and myself, I'm a one-man band. I am the Austin Perry Show. And if you would like to support me and support my video content into the future, you can do so by leaving me a donation. And you can leave me a donation via PayPal, and my email address for that is austin.perry@gmail.com, and that's spelled P-A-R-R-Y. And please consider leaving me a donation. That will really help me out. I will be eternally grateful for that. $5, $10, anything helps, and that will help me to improve the quality of the Austin Perry Show and to help to schedule different guests and to support me into the future. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been a special episode of the Austin Perry Show where we talk about current events, politics, culture, and news. And this was episode 25, Saturday, May 1st, 2021, where we did a deep dive on DUMBs, deep underground military bases. And that was a very interesting, thought-provoking episode, episode 25 in the books. We will catch you tomorrow on episode 26, which will be Sunday, May 2nd. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me talk about D.U.M.Bs, Deep Underground Military Bases. Everybody have a great night. Stay blessed. Love and peace. And goodbye.